All right, welcome back, everybody, to High P at Home. We have a very special guest today, along with my normal partner in crime, Scott Touzinsky. Scotty, how you doing?
Doing great, Cary. I tried to get the same background as you today for our podcast because I was switching it up. I said, I'm going to go just like Cary.
I love it. Yeah, I'm glad I can be an influence on you. And our very special guest is a High P alum, George Huhmann. George, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. It's really great to have alums on here, and we've had a couple, and it's just been awesome to talk volleyball and what's going on. Kind of interested, like everybody else, just interested to see what you're up to during the pandemic. What have you been doing? Where are you at? What's been going on?
I've been here at home in Texas. My family moved here about 3 years ago when I was a freshman at Princeton. So I'm here in Austin. I've been here for about 3 months. Since the pandemic happened, I was really bummed out because our season got canceled, like everybody else's. And I missed graduation and the spring semester with all my Princeton friends. But I've been here in Texas with my family, doing what I can with the weights I have. I have a little bit, but it's obviously not as good as like training with the national team, which I also haven't been able to do since the ASC in California has been shut down. So I'm just waiting to see what the next step is. I'm supposed to be going overseas in the next month or so, depending on USA volleyball stuff. But yeah, I mean, the past few months have been pretty boring. Haven't been doing that much, but it's been relaxing.
Yeah, it's a tough time, man. Obviously, being at Long Beach the last 2 years and talking to that staff over there when everything got shut down, they were like, this is unbelievable. Kind of just talk me through where you guys were when you got the notice of, hey, we're shutting this thing down. And then obviously you lose your senior year, which is what we've been talking about a lot for all of our guys. Is that's a tough thing to lose. Not a lot of people get to experience that, and then you lost it. So
yeah, I mean, we were having a pretty good season. I think we were like 7-1 or 7-2 in the EIVA. And we were looking good for another run at the NCAA championship, like we did in 2019. And I think at that point, Princeton was one of the first schools to kind of close everything down. And once we heard the school was done, then we knew our season was going to get cut short. And I think when I found out that our season was getting called off, I was like really sick. I think I had the stomach flu or something, which made it even worse. But yeah, we were all super bummed. But I know the guys who are coming back next year are really excited to make another run. I think they're going to be a pretty good team. But yeah, it was really unfortunate what happened.
I want to go, eventually you've mentioned the national team, you mentioned Princeton. Want to get into that and those experiences, but just kind of want to go back and talk about how you got your start in volleyball, because, you played some pretty high level basketball too, and played with some pretty big names, guys that, people have heard of. How did you get started in volleyball, and how did you get started in club volleyball, and just kind of walk us through that?
Yeah. For my whole life until like sophomore, junior year in high school, I played basketball, and that was my focus. I played basketball year round. I loved it. Then 8th grade, I tried out for my middle school volleyball team, and it wasn't like super serious. It was pretty casual. It was just learning the basics of volleyball. But that was what really sparked my interest in the game. And then when I moved to St. Louis, I lived in Indianapolis until I was 13. When I moved to St. Louis, and SLU obviously has a very good volleyball program. I tried out for the high school team, and I played on the JV team my freshman and sophomore year. I wasn't that experienced, but I had some great coaches. And then I was encouraged by a bunch of my teammates to try out for High P, play travel volleyball, because they thought I had a good shot at playing in college and beyond. So I tried out for the team and really loved it. I mean, the coaches at High P are amazing. And I had a good experience with them. And started to get college interest in my junior year, and that's when I knew it was pretty serious and that I could actually play this at the next level. So I committed to Princeton, and then I had a great experience at Princeton with Coach Touzinsky. Was able to win an EIV championship and continue on the national team. When I first tried out for the national team, it was 2015 on the youth team, and then played on the youth team for 1 year, and then the junior team for 2 years, and then the senior team the past couple summers, which has been an amazing experience as well. But yeah, that's kind of how I got started.
I love that. And, I love that you say High P, coaches are the best and they're amazing. And I get to work with them all every single day, obviously right now, which is so cool. What's the main thing that you learned at High P that rolled over to you at Princeton? I always like to hear this from so many different athletes. And, you obviously started late and there's something in there that for sure just kind of rolled over to Princeton and allowed you to have success at the next level, obviously with the national team right now as well.
I think High P just really helped me develop my love for the game. Like in every drill we did in practice, and all the training camps I did, it was just fun. Like High P, the coaches just made it fun, whatever it was. And I think I recognize that at Princeton too. Schweitzer did a great job at keeping it fun all the time, but at High P, the reason I stopped playing basketball was because I love volleyball so much. And I think Mike Lotz and Joe Dimeke did a great job with that 17s team, and I had a blast every time I went in the gym and played with those guys. So I think they just really helped me develop that love for the game and staying present in the moment. And just while I was working to get better as a player, I was also just having a great time doing it.
Yeah, talk me through that. I love Mike Loads, man. I had the pleasure of coaching with Loads this year. He was my assistant coach for the 16s team. I was the head, and we had a blast together. And I learned probably just as much from Mike as he learned from me this year, which was so cool to always be kind of bouncing ideas off. What's the one main thing that you took from Mike?
One main thing, he was he's a pretty calm guy as far as a coach goes. He was really nice, but I wasn't that experienced going into my 7th. That was my first year at club, and he really helped me adjust to the speed of the game. Since JV volleyball, it wasn't bad, but I think club volleyball was a pretty big adjustment period for me. And he just helped me kind of adjust to the speed of the game, blocking wise especially. I wasn't a great blocker back in the sophomore year of high school. So that was a big thing he helped me with. And then, one technical aspect of it was just shot selection, I think really developed in my first couple of years at IP, especially in my 17th year. But Mike was great. I love playing for him. Him and Joe, they were awesome.
So it's not rare in men's volleyball for guys to come to the game late, because if you're an athlete and you're blessed with really good size, you can adjust pretty quickly to that game, and you adjusted very quickly. I remember watching you in the gym. I remember seeing you play JV volleyball at SLU and thinking, well, we got to get this kid in our gym because he can do it. But you progressed really quickly, and the college offers started to come in, and you talked about the youth and junior national team experiences. Talk to us about your decision to go to Princeton, because you had a lot of options, right, in terms of volleyball. Not that Princeton's a bad program. They've always been successful, and Sam is a great coach. Talk us through your decision to go to Princeton and why you decided to go there amongst all the other bigger volleyball names.
I think Princeton just had, for me, the academics were always a big part of it. I wanted to go to a really good academic school, and Princeton was one of the best. So I think the combination of academics and athletics was a big reason. And then when I went on my visit, I really just connected well with the players. And I think that's something that I would encourage all people who are looking into playing college volleyball to do is see which team, when you go on your visit, which team you fit in the best with. I mean, for me, that was the Princeton guys. So I think that was like one of the bigger reasons. But other than that, I mean, Princeton has, I mean, Coach Weisky did a great job of helping me make the decision and like confirming that I could still be on the national team and play at Princeton and get a great degree. But it seemed like the greatest fit for me. And I think after graduating, I think it was the greatest fit.
Yeah, I love Sam and Pat. I've done multiple things with Pat and seen him on the recruiting trail, and Sam is one of a kind, dude. He's such a good fit for that program. I remember seeing you for the first time playing wise, my first year at Long Beach whenever we played you guys, and God, you were thundering us, man. It was awesome. It was like one of the hardest things as a block and D coach is to stop somebody like you with your size and your ability and your arm. I mean, it was just unbelievable. Moving to the next level. I know you said you're going to go play your first season professionally. Where are you going to play? What team? And what are you looking most forward to getting over there professionally?
So next season I'm going to play in Belgium for Roselare. They're, I think, historically one of the better teams in Belgium in the Belgian league, and they also play in the Champions League, which will be really good competition for me my first year. One of the biggest things I'm looking forward to, I think, just experiencing a new culture and a new way of volleyball. I mean, I've been playing in the NCAA for 4 years, and I'm excited to go over there and kind of just focus on volleyball, I guess. I mean, I've been focusing on academics and volleyball, and it'll be nice to just be focused on volleyball and training to get better, and just having a mindset on one thing.
For sure.
But also experience a new culture, and maybe traveling a little bit, just kind of seeing the world.
Yeah, Roeselare, man, it's a great program. Mosaic, I played there one season of Belgium for Lennox, and it's a fun little spot. Champions League is going to be a great test for you. It's going to be fun.
Mm-hmm. I'm looking forward to it, definitely.
Well, I didn't play pro volleyball in Belgium, but I did play volleyball at SLU, just like you. So, we have something in common. Want to talk a little bit about, your Princeton experience in terms of volleyball. I mean, you guys were in a conference that, unlike any other conference that was dominated by one team for decades, one program. It was, Penn State pretty much. There were exceptions, right? You guys did something in 2019 that was amazing. Talk us through that experience. Talk us through, playing the NCAA tournament, getting a win in the NCAA tournament. How great was that?
That was an amazing experience. I mean, Princeton had won the EIVA since 1998. It was about 20 years later when we finally won it. I mean, for the program, it was huge. I know we were all really excited to go to the NCAA tournament. We knew we had the talent, and I think over the years, the EIVA, the talent level has kind of equaled out a little bit, I guess. And you see teams like George Mason and Princeton and St. Francis kind of challenging Penn State. Penn State's still a great team, great program, but I think a little bit, some more teams are kind of coming into the mix and challenging them, and I think that's great for the game of volleyball. As far as that Princeton team, I think 2019 we had a really special group of guys. I think the seniors that year, Corey Short, Billy, and Kendall, did a great job of leading us. They were all great people off the court, and we all really respected them, and they did a great job leading. I think that was a big part of why we were so successful. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think when I came to Princeton, I never really expected for myself to play opposite. That was a big change. But it was really exciting for me.
I want to ask you about that actually, because I got, I'm a pretty big volley dork, and with the internet, I get to watch a lot of your games. You guys were pretty creative in terms of your rotations and your system. You're playing middle sometimes, you're playing opposite sometimes, you're hitting the D ball, you're hitting a quick. You know, how big of an adjustment was that for you? Because you weren't ever a high ball hitter.
Yeah, it was a big adjustment, I think, especially coming to the game late. I was really just a middle, and I was tall, and I mean that was that was about all I had. And then when I got to college, I developed a jump serve, and I think that kind of helped me adjust to the high ball hitting a little bit. But it took a lot of practice to kind of transition into the opposite position. And I never really expected to do it, but that's what fit our team best, I think, with the group of guys we had. I think, I can't even explain the rotations. I don't even understand it really. I just know where I go, honestly. But it was really unique, and I think it kind of caught teams off guard. It's probably difficult to scout because, in any one rotation, we could have multiple people like just running different routes, and then the next play, just totally switching it up. So there's a lot of versatility with that lineup. But big credit to Coach Schweisky and Coach Pat for creating that. It must have been difficult. But I think that was another big reason why we were so successful, is we had such a versatile group of guys who could play multiple positions. Yeah, I think it was a great season for sure.
Yeah, that was a tough one to scout. I will say that, George. That was difficult. The best part about us when we played you guys last year is we played you guys later in the season, and if you were playing you guys the first half of the season, you guys were going to get crushed because of the fact that nobody knew at all where you guys were going in any rotation, whatever it was. Moving into your arm, dude, like you have a phenomenal arm. I love what Pat and Sam obviously did over there with the different things. Are you guys doing some of that stuff on the national team too, with you and moving things around? Hopefully John's taking a note from those guys.
I haven't played any opposite on the national team. I think there was one practice where we were short-staffed a little bit, and I played a little bit of opposite, but it was pretty much middle on the national team. And that's what I think it's what it's going to be overseas too. But I'm totally fine with that. I think I have a lot of room to grow as a middle also, and I think I have a good career ahead of me if I keep improving and doing well with the national team as a middle. So I think maybe in the future, I don't know. I'm pretty tall, so it's never an impossibility that I couldn't go to the opposite. But it helps to be tall in the middle too, and I think if I keep developing, then it's a good position for me on the national team. So that's what I'll probably be doing as of right now.
I'd like to get into more discussion about the national team and your experience so far and what you see in the future. But we've talked to a couple of people that, we're preparing for this upcoming Olympics, and it got ripped out from underneath them. Just kind of big picture, do you have your sights set on an Olympic team roster in the future? Is that something you have on your plate?
Yeah, definitely. That's the goal for me. And I understand that I'm going to have to get a little bit, just develop a little bit more and get a little bit more experience overseas. But I think it's definitely a possibility for me, and it's something that I want to go for. I don't know exactly when that'll be, when I'll be able to make a roster. But I think as long as I keep working hard and playing volleyball overseas and doing well, then I have a good shot. But I think a lot of the players on the U.S. team, like Max Holt and Dave Smith, that I played with last summer, have done a great job of kind of helping me adjust to the national team gym. It's a pretty big adjustment, especially coming from Princeton and the NCAA, and not having played any overseas professionally. But they did a great job helping me kind of adjust to the gym and making me feel welcome and comfortable. And it's a great environment for me to grow and develop. And I think if I continue to do that, then I'll be able to hopefully have a good shot at making a roster in the future.
I don't think that's going to be a problem whatsoever, George. I know that's something that's cool and what you're excited for. There's a spot at Ace Volleyball Lab waiting, a little banner for you on the national team, bud, in the Olympics one day. What's been your favorite part of being on the national team? I know being in the gym, it's so much fun being with the guys and the level and all that stuff, but I kind of want to hear your favorite part of it.
I mean, at first it was a little bit of a shock just playing with those guys that when I was in high school, I used to like watch YouTube videos of them online. Just like actually playing with them was really cool at first. My favorite thing about it probably is just seeing how competitive they are.
Or experience. You can throw experience out there too.
Yeah, exactly. Experienced. Just seeing how hard they work, like in the weight room and keeping their bodies in shape, seeing their love for the game. That's been really cool. I think the coolest part of it last summer was playing in the VNL finals in Chicago. I mean, I think a lot of the guys who were on that roster with me are probably going to be on the Olympics next year in Tokyo. So to be a part of that group was really, really cool. And it's the VNL is such a big tournament and a big league. And seeing those guys really compete to try to win the gold medal, it was awesome to be there with them. And I was fortunate to get a little bit of playing time against Russia in one of the games. And I mean, it was a great experience overall. I really loved it the entire last summer. And obviously got canceled this summer because of the pandemic, but I'm hoping that next summer there'll be more opportunities for me to show how much I've grown in Belgium, and I'm just looking forward to it. I think it'll be great next summer. So
It's a crazy turn of events that we just kind of went through. You're thinking 6 or 7, just a little more than 6 years ago, you didn't even play club volleyball, and now you're telling us a story about playing Russia in the VNL. It's crazy. You talk about getting into the national team gym and it being kind of like a shock to your system. Who did you kind of gravitate towards when you got there?
When I first got there, I knew a few of the players from the youth and junior national teams, like Mike Huhmann, Josh Tuaniga, Kyle Ensing. And then, I mean, I hung out with them a lot, and then I started talking to some of the older guys, Micah Christensen, Max Holt, and they weren't so scary. Started talking to them and learned that they're great guys and they're easy to talk to, and all they really want to do is help me adjust. And I think as time wore on, I kind of got more used to just talking to them and being more comfortable in the environment. But I mean, I think everyone in the gym is really accepting of new players and understanding that it's a big shock at first. So I think everyone honestly did a great job of helping me adjust to the environment and feeling okay to just give it my all. And yeah.
Let's get to the really hard hitting questions. We always like to end with the hard hitters. I'm going to talk a little bit. We're going to push you outside your comfort zone and make you talk about some of your teammates. Going back to St. Louis U High, who's your favorite teammate to play with?
Favorite teammate. It's a tough one because there's a lot of them. I mean, I'll say probably the Hankins, Paul and Leo. I think they're just a blast to play with. They bring a lot of energy to the court. But yeah, I mean, Paul and Leo are good friends of mine. But they're also great volleyball players, and I think playing with them really helped me develop a lot of love for the game. I mean, they were the ones at first who pushed me to like try out for high P and go for volleyball, and But they're a blast to play with on the court. I think another player, he didn't play that much on the court, but his name's Alec Kyle, and he was super supportive of me from the bench. Just a really great guy. Loved playing with him. He was on my JV teams and then played with me on varsity too, but really great guy. Always loved playing with him. And then the Hankins. There's also Sean Hughes, really funny guy. But love playing with him. There's a lot of people I can mention, but
Did you get to play against those guys collegiately? I tried to go through your schedules, but I didn't. I know Paul's career got cut short a little bit, and Leo's a little bit younger than you. But did you ever get to run into any of your former SLU teammates on the NCAA circuit?
We never played Ohio State or Sean at all, and then played Stanford once. I think, Leo was probably on the team. I'm not sure if he played that game, but we played Leo once, and it was fun to catch up with him and talk with him a little bit. But I'm trying to think of other people. High PT. I mean, we played Cade Bontrager at Fort Wayne. We played Ryan Whalen a little bit in some fall tournaments up at Princeton. Other high P people. George Deal. We played him at Princeton. Other SLU teammates. I don't know. I think that might have been it as far as SLU teammates that I played.
I want to get a hard hitter out here, Cary.
Go for it.
If I can. Okay. Least favorite or player or team that you played against collegiately? Because you're out of there now, so I want to hear it.
Least favorite player that I played against.
Or team, yeah. I have to imagine it's got to probably be in the conference maybe, or
yeah.
maybe it was Long Beach State, you know?
I think it was probably St. Francis, at St. Francis. And if you haven't played there, the fans are insane. They're constantly yelling at you from the service line. Like they're right next to you too. It's crazy, but I always hated playing there. Coach Rumbaugh does a great job of getting the fans out and getting them excited. But it's always a crazy environment. The heckling is unmatched by a lot of teams in the country. It's really impressive what they can do. But yeah, always hated playing them. I mean, the guys are great. I can't say the guys are bad guys, but the hecklers are tough to play against.
It had to mean a little bit more when you guys beat Penn State, though, right? That had to be a big thing.
For sure.
Yeah. Penn State, we always, especially this past year when you played them at Penn State, a lot of just, I don't know, there's just like a little bit of a rivalry going on, I guess now. I mean, back in the day, I'm sure it wasn't like as competitive as it is now, but Penn State's a great program. And when we beat them in the finals last year, I think it still stung a little bit for them. And we wanted to show that we still had it. And I mean, it was a great match this year, but beating Penn State's always great, I think. I love it. So, but yeah, there is a little bit of a rivalry between us, and yeah, I mean, yeah.
Well, George, we're all really proud of what you've accomplished so far, and we're really looking forward to what you're going to do in the future. Don't be a stranger. Come see us. Come get in the gym with the guys. They'd love to see you.
Heck yeah. Thanks, George. Appreciate it, man.
Yeah, thank you guys for having me.
All right, thanks.
Yep. Bye.